Hi there, my name is Suzanne Vertinen and I'm the Director and Business Development Consultant at DiscoverChange. And I'm here with Mandeep Sokhi. Hi Mandeep.
Hi Suzanne, how you doing?
I am fantastic and I'm really excited to have you here today in Leading Conversations. Now Mandeep, thank you so much for taking part. Mandeep is here to share such an exciting topic with us, particularly in how to create your own economy. How exciting, especially in the world we live in right now, is for people to really see and leverage the opportunities in their environment. And I know Mandeep, I've seen Mandeep speak. She provides fantastic training and development, particularly in women's empowerment as well, and also in the area of mindset and personal development, helping people with their financial, let's say, growth. So thank you so much for taking part. Today, I'd love for you to share just a little bit more about what is it actually that you do. Now, it's so exciting, such an important subject that we're talking about as well. And how did you actually get started, Mandeep, in this area?
Oh, Susan, well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me on here. I really appreciate, having the opportunity to speak on this platform. So my story actually began one cold, dark November evening. But just to kind of backtrack a bit before that, I just want to provide a bit of context of who I am and sort of where I come from. So I come from a very sort of typical Indian Asian household where you probably heard your parents say the same thing, because my parents definitely said the same thing to me, which was go to school, get a good education and get a good job. And we know this, and growing up, I had a lot of phrases like next time. Oh, just wait a second, let's wait till next time. Get a job for life. Let's wait till the sales. Let's wait till an occasion. Let's wait till Christmas. So all of this is being fed into my mind as a child, growing into adolescence, adulthood, etc. And I remember getting into my job. So I come from a corporate background. I was working in sort of in schools and helping head teachers with their recruitment for about just under a decade. And I remember when I hit a certain age, when I hit the big 30, and that's where my journey actually really began, because I remember looking at the big 3 and the 0, because my family held a party in the back garden. We had a marquee and the balloons and everything. And I remember looking at the numbers, the 3 and the 0. And in a way, I was excited, but it also freaked me out, because I thought, hang on a second, I'm 30. I'm 30. And it really hit me. And it got me thinking, what have I done so far? What have I achieved? And that's when the whole theme of create your own economy sort of came about, because that's when I realized that I don't know anything about money. I don't know anything about investments, property portfolios. I don't know anything about, Forex or anything. I don't know anything about multiplying money. And so that's when everything sort of started. And that cold November evening was when I met my mentor. I had a very rough day at work. I was completely exhausted. I was working 8 a.m. till 6 p.m., sometimes 8 p.m. So these 10, 12-hour shifts, they took a very, very long toll. And I thought, I don't want to do this, and I was really bright-eyed, bushy-tailed when I started. I loved my job, it was incredible, great company, but ultimately I wanted to do something for myself, and that's when Create Your Own Economy was born, and the rest is history.
Wow, I thank you for sharing, and I love that. And it's because especially what you said there about really realizing that, that sort of work schedule, although it was a great job. And this same was for me many years ago when I got started, is that, well, I really loved my job, but actually you end up spending literally sometimes even double the hours of
Yeah.
your basic full-time job, so to say, but really never get any reward, or even the financial reward. So pursuing that entrepreneurship, and building your own business must have been such a great option, especially for a hardworking person like you. So you said
Yeah.
that you didn't necessarily understand too much about money and investing. So what exactly did you learn about money, if you don't mind me asking? And how did that then change your circumstances?
Well, one of the things that I learned about was the way in which people earn money.
Hmm.
And the way it works, so the way people handle money, is what I came to learn was that 95% of people out there, they work for money. So they have to go to work, they get paid. They go to work, they get paid. They don't go to work, they don't get paid, right? And Even people in the self-employed quadrant, it's absolutely fantastic being self-employed, but even then you're still having to sell your product or your service to get paid. Now, embarrassingly enough, my nails are not done because obviously it's lockdown in the UK. It's absolutely crazy, and I'm just not liking this situation. But again, it's a similar thing. My nail technician, when you know everything was announced in March, income gone, just like that. So even when you're self-employed, if you're not allowed to see people, how are you going to deliver the product or the service? You know, so this is one thing. This is 95% of people working for money. Then you have 5% of people that have money working for them. And Warren Buffett, actually, he says a quote, it's a little bit harsh, but it's fitting for this. He says, if you don't find a way to make money while you're sleeping, you will work until the day you die. And as harsh as it sounds, it's true. I mean, he's a billion, and that kept playing in my mind. I thought, I'm 95% of people. Like, I don't know, you know, and that's when the penny really dropped. I thought, okay, I've got to start looking at other options to be able to understand how it works, because otherwise I'm going to stay where I am. Because guess what? If nothing changes, nothing changes.
You're absolutely right. If nothing changes, then nothing changes. And so often it is like we're looking for that job, the new opportunities to give the like next level income. And I was a bit like that, you know, me personally, I had literally like something crazy about 40 jobs and, you know, almost looked to be unemployable on my CV. And, you know, you just keep going from one thing to the next. But actually, when you realize that in entrepreneurship, you really get paid in the value that you bring and also in how you can indeed what you're saying there, and I can't wait to hear about exact tips and strategies on how to create your own economy, but to really to start investing your own knowledge, change the way you see the world, and not being that 95%, but really becoming that 5%. So what can people do? Like, I mean, we're talking about personal development. You're very much into that. You're also educating, providing all sorts of training. In terms of mindsets, what do you think is really important? I mean, this is a huge subject. We could talk about this for days. Um, but
Yeah.
what should people really start to change in terms of the mindset and about money and maybe about just financial management or investments? What are the things that you really changed?
I think the key thing is it's got to come from within. And one of the questions I want to ask the audience right now is, how do you see yourself? Like right here, right now, you're watching this video, Susan's here, I'm here. How do you see yourself? And how do you feel about your financial situation? Because the thing is, the way you see your future and your present is going to affect the way you feel about money and the way you handle money as well. Now, believe it or not, this is quite interesting actually, but our money blueprint is formed at the tender age of 7. So whatever our parents said to us, you know, when we were young children, and I had a very weak blueprint. You know, my blueprint was, I gotta save. There's never enough. I came from a position of lack. So either you come from a position of lack or abundance. Either you feel good about spending money, you're pretty good with investments, you don't worry about day to day, or you come from a place of lack where you think, okay, I've got to put this much away for the bills, which leaves me X amount to go out, but then I can't go out because then that's going to be spending more money and I've got to wait till next month to get paid. This is the turning wheel, the cog of what the average 95% of people, the way they're going to feel about money, because as a child they were taught it's never enough. It's never enough, Susan, and that's the way they feel. So the way they view money, even when they have their jobs, is, okay, let me put X amount away for the bills and then this much will be left for spending. But here's the key thing: we can't save our way to wealth. I mean, we can in a sense, but you know, the key thing is that we, you know, we're not worrying about money. So the key thing is how do you view money right now? And you can start changing that even with things like affirmations. I'm so happy and grateful. I'm building my empire. I'm so happy and grateful. I don't know how, but I've come across an amazing opportunity. I'm so happy and grateful that I love my work. Money comes to me. You know, I'm a big believer in affirmations. And the crazy thing is, Susan, in my corporate job, I used to think to myself, I don't need any of that. Like that's just self-help. And I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I'm going to, you know, wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm going to be honest here, because I thought I don't need that stuff. But guess what? I also I wasn't exactly earning, you know, sort of 6, 7 figures, was I? And so I had to start changing the way I thought about money and felt about money. So the way I speak now, Susan, is very different to the corporate lady you would have met probably a few years ago. But what I'd say is start speaking things into existence. What do you want to see? And this actually reminds me of a conversation I had with my sister just before this call. And I said, you know what, Kieran? I said, every time I drove to a meeting, I used to imagine that I was driving to my business meeting, not a work meeting. So when I was on the motorway, I used to have, maybe some personal development playing, or, whatever it was. Bob Proctor, he's an amazing individual. And I used to feel like I'm running my own empire. And lo and behold, a few years later, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm building my empire. I run my own business. I'm holding team meetings. I run a global business. That's what I do. But the way I felt about money before and my life has impacted the way I live now. So the way I live now, the way I feel about money, the way I invest, the way I live my life, the way even my parents live their lives has changed significantly because there was a shift in the mindset. There was a shift in the way I thought, because you're thinking whatever it is right now, it's not going to take you to where you want to go. So you have to start changing it with what you speak, with what you hear, who you listen to. A lot of people out there, they look at investments, and who do they ask? They ask the people that don't even have the money in the first place. They say, oh, what do you think about this opportunity? But then the people that they're asking, they're not where they want to be. So they're asking for advice from the wrong people. And we've got to get really smartened up on the way we look at things, grabbing opportunities. I mean, I'm sure you've heard this before, Susan. There's a term that says, there's an acronym, a funny one in our industry, that says people sometimes just continue being poor. Poor meaning passing over opportunities repeatedly, because they're just constantly, they're just passing them over and over and over again. So I know it was a bit of a long-winded explanation, but like you said, personal development we could go on about all day. But I think mentally, cognitively, something has to shift so that you feel, I'm building an empire. Like, I feel incredible. This is my business. And at the beginning, you might feel a bit odd saying it, but the more you say it, you'll actually start to believe it and think, yeah, I can actually, I'm doing it and I'm going to do it. And so, yeah, the answer is shifting in thinking.
Wow. Oh my God. I'm definitely going to listen to that more often. And I just love what you're saying there, Mandeep. Thank you so much. And no, not long-winded at all. I think what I'd really love to do is actually ask you more questions about that, because I think that is really the key issue. Sometimes, and like you said, in employments, people go to work, work really hard, but then also, and then they try and get out of that rat race, but then they go into a business, and actually so often business is a worse rat race sometimes. It can happen that actually, and that's only you as a person, one person running after all these things and really actually working inefficiently. And really love what you're saying there and sharing there. And let's dig into just a little bit more in detail, because you said that those thoughts are really deep rooted. It's that mindset shift. And we often talk about, yeah, be positive, believe in yourself. But sometimes saying these things isn't just enough. And actually, it's really understanding, where are these deep-rooted challenges maybe coming from? And I love just there, I just wanted to kind of summarize what you said there, because it's such a key thing, is create new affirmations. Are you the person who is, oh, I can't afford that, or why is everything always so expensive, or everybody else has the money but I don't get anything? And those are actually, there's a great saying, your language creates your environment.
100%.
And isn't what you said there about the affirmations, so really starting with new affirmations every day, writing those down. I love what you said there, driving to a work meeting and imagine it's your meeting.
Yeah.
Kind of like daydreaming, isn't it?
Yeah. 100%. That's so key. That's so key. Yeah.
So when you said there about writing, now it's kind of like, I joined a Tony Robbins event a few weeks ago, and he said it very well, write a news story.
Yeah.
So what do you think people should get started with if they know, I want to get rich, there's nothing actually special about wanting to be a millionaire, is there? Everybody wants lots of money, but actually the way to get there, how to get there, and many people are on the way, but how do you overcome the challenges? And I want to ask you now is, what's been maybe some of the big challenges that you've had, or one or two key ones, and what have you learned? Because it might be really useful for someone else to hear how to overcome their challenges.
I think the key thing that I realized in my journey was that gratitude, the big G, plays a massive part in your success. It really does. Because I remember working in the corporate world, and I used to wake up, and it's crazy how, and maybe a lot of people on this webinar would be able to relate, but you wake up and you're like, I've got to get ready. Okay, got to get kids ready. I've got to do lunches. I've got to do this. Right. Okay, quickly get my purse, get my stuff, get my laptop, get in the car. Okay, I've got a meeting. I'm late. So constantly, from the minute you wake up, you are on go. You are on go, and it's a turning cog again and again, from start of the day to the finish of the day. And then what happens in the evening? You come home, you're like, right, kids, if you have kids, bath, and I've got to do this, I've got to go to that course, I'm doing this extra curricular thing after work, whatever it is you're doing, I've got to make dinner. You know, oh, I want to sit down, I want to have a bit of a time out. Oh, you know what, I started this course, but it's not quite working. Oh, nothing ever works for me. Why is this always happening to me? I hate my boss. And, you know, it turns into such a whirlpool of things. But hang on right there. What if we rewind right to the beginning of the day, and literally 10 minutes you woke up just before you actually, and labeled it gratitude journal, and you sit in your bed or on the floor or in the lounge, wherever it is, in complete silence, and give gratefulness for what's around you. You know, it doesn't matter what your financial situation is right now, you have something, at least one thing to be grateful for. And let me give you something really easy, or the listeners something really easy. You're watching this Zoom call, you have technology, you have a life, you have the ability to have time. If you're listening to this Zoom call, you have the you have a roof over your head. Let's start off with the basic things. Even if there's one thing, there might be someone out there that you want to give love to. How about that person? Sending out good wishes. And even when I was in the corporate world, Susan, I still used to say that to myself. I am so happy and grateful was the affirmation I learned from Bob Proctor, by the way. That's what I use for my beginning of the affirmations. But I kept saying, I'm so happy and grateful I'm running a business. Even though I wasn't at the time, I still spoke it into existence. And you know, you talk business or enter entrepreneurship thinking, you know what, I'm going to be my own boss and it's going to be amazing, and I'm sacking the boss and I'm the boss and it's all good. I've had challenges. I've had people say no to me, reject me. They don't believe in me. They think, oh, you know, what you're doing is a scam. It doesn't work. What do you mean women empowerment? Who are you leading? This, that, and the other. And to be honest, the vision of retiring my parents, that kept me going. The vision of having my own time and sleeping until when I finish sleeping, as opposed to the boss on the boss's clock, that kept me going. The vision of starting property portfolio, the vision of, you know, just being that inspiration for people. That's the drive. And to go even deeper, Susan, yes, everybody has off days or off hours or whatever it is. You're going to have obstacles. You can't enter life or business without thinking, oh, it's going to be plain sailing. But look at the route. Why do you want financial freedom? For those of you on the call, why do you want it? Is it because you want a better life for your kids? Is it that you want a better life for your parents? For me, I want to retire my parents. So it does not matter what someone says, good or bad, I am totally focused on my goal, because I know by next year, my parents don't need to work. So to have a goal that big, it requires a lot of, you know, it requires a lot of courage. But if I have an obstacle, am I going to give up and think, oh my God, this person rejected me, so I'm going to leave? No, because the goal is so big. How big is your vision? People let little petty things, you throw them off track. Oh, someone said no to me, that I can't do this. So
So
you see what I
exactly.
mean? Like,
So
get
it's the best
over it.
word to say. Exactly.
That's it. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, nobody else's opinions are going to feed your children or yourself, or put a house over your head, clothe you, feed you, or water you. So why does it matter? You are here on this earth, and not to get philosophical or religious, but we're here for a purpose.
Absolutely.
We're here to do big things. So why not do that? And yeah, that's pretty much it. I've kind of forgotten the question, but hopefully it's answered it.
It's absolute. It's fantastic. It's
Yeah.
you know, having certain challenges and how to overcome that. And it's exactly, just to kind of summarize what you said there into a couple of concrete tips, is having that exact clear vision as to why you want to do this. Not just to say, oh, I just want to be rich, but exactly what do you want to gain with that and it's not about being rich, it's about being wealthy and abundant. And what
Yeah.
you said there about gratitude, it ties in nicely with that. It's not just about having things, but actually really appreciating things,
Mm.
savoring things, daydream about it, appreciating, taking time. Um, but also that really interesting and just an important aspect to bring to this is how thoughts are indeed, some people call them vibrations of energy.
Mm.
And, if there is that thought of appreciation, thought and focus on abundance rather than lack. So what you said there before is so spot on, because that is indeed, and some people might think, you know what, but I'm a good person. I want to help people. But they may not be able to get out of that cycle. But sometimes it can be difficult, isn't it, to jump out of that old way of thinking and, repeat that same story. I've never had this, or whatever I try, it doesn't work. Sentences like that. But actually what you're saying now is really now convert that energy into having a clear vision.
Mm.
And then waking up every morning, maybe with specific affirmations that support achieving that vision. If you want to be the millionaire, but who is making that difference and that contribution in their society or in their family, great. Say those things in the morning, isn't it? And what
Yeah.
you said there is really to train your mind in a different way.
Mm.
And you provide a range of different ways of supporting people. So you talked about women's empowerment. What other ways do you provide sort of support and education as well, financial education, isn't it? So
Yeah.
what ways could really people take that turn and start to see things differently? Because it doesn't happen by continuing things the same way on our home, just kind of thinking, okay, one day I'll figure it out. So what should they do? What should they get learning, for example?
I mean, the key thing here is that you got to dig your well before you're thirsty. You have to dig your well before you're thirsty. Invest in a course, learn a skill set. I mean, for me, my vehicle is Forex. That's what I do. That's what I teach. I help people to understand how currency exchange works. Now, currency exchange is one of the largest financial liquid markets on the planet, Susan. It's like, the banks are trading $6.6 trillion daily. So whatever money we have in the banks are continuously trading that again and again. But here's the clever thing that the banks do. They will trade your money, but they'll never tell you. And what they'll give you in return is, thank you so much for being a customer with our bank. Here's 0.0005%. Thank you so much. And they'll continue making the money abundantly while they're giving you a very small percentage of that. And so the key thing is get savvy. Get savvy with making a decision to understand how money works, because the key thing is we cannot be relying on someone else to give us the wealth. Like, going into a job and saying, I'm going to do this and become financially free, but through my job. It doesn't work that way. You have to look at other sources of income. And this is why I've been a very, very big advocate, as per the title of the webinar, create your own economy. Because here's the crazy thing. If I had not made a decision to do Forex a few years ago, Susan, this March I would have been out of a job, because the whole department became redundant. But because I'd done this a few years ago, I'd dug my well and I'd continued going, and I was working. So now I've safeguarded my financial future, which means that redundancies or not, it doesn't matter, because I did the work before. And I thought, you know what, this makes sense. Let me look at something at least. Let me look at something. So, to all the people out there, I don't know if you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, wherever you are on this call, get savvy with money, understand how it works, invest in a course, do something about it, because as long as you work for money, you're going to always work for money. It can never multiply unless you put it into something, or unless you learn how to multiply it yourself. And this is one of the key things that we teach on our platform. Whether you want to trade, say Bitcoin or US30 or currencies or metals like silver, gold, whatever it is, we teach you how to do that. And it's fun. Like, imagine a situation where you're earning money from home without leaving the home. Hello, this is a situation now in the UK, where we can't actually leave our homes because it's, full lockdown. So we're sort of unaffected in that sense, because we can happily go on the computer or on our smartphones and earn money. And here's the other crazy thing, Susan, I want to finish off with for that point. There are so many apps in our phones, right? There are literally, like, if I was to open up my phone, right, look at all these apps right here, okay? And the reason why I say that is because how many of these apps are making people money out there? If you open up your banking app, no. WhatsApp, no. Instagram, no. Facebook, no. YouTube, no. So we have an app called MetaTrader 4, which is where we do all the currency exchange. That's making people money. So ask yourselves, is your smartphone making you money? The amount of times you do this on your phone to check your messages, opening up the phone, is probably like 200-300 times a day. But how many of those 200-300 times a day are you earning money? See, these are the things we've got to start thinking of. How can I make money? Where? Making money online is the biggest way someone can win, because, you know, we've even, by the way, dropped out into e-commerce and drop shipping. So if someone wants to look at that as well, great. If currencies don't interest you, at least this is a way to open up an online store and start selling online. Do something different, learn a new skill, plant a new seed, do something different to what you've already been doing. Because Albert Einstein, I think, said this, you know, the definition of, you know, crazy is doing this same thing over and over again and saying, something will change. Nothing changes. You've got to change first. You've got to make a decision to make something different. So my advice on that point is look at something else and invest in your future, because no one else is going to do it for you. You have to physically get out there and see what's out there and just go for it.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. And you're so right about trading as well. And trading offers such vast amount of opportunities. And you know what? I got to be honest with you. The first time I heard about trading and Forex, you know, it was about 15 years ago. And obviously you kind of are aware of it anyway, but really as a business opportunity. And you think, oh, no, that's not, you know, nothing for me. And actually, I was one of those people who's, I would never understand this. I will never get it. You know, it's definitely not for me. And I did my things and absolutely, and really, really happy with what I'm doing. And actually, the key thing is people see trading in all sorts of different ways. And I thought, oh my God, I have to sit there like every day for hours and hours, or 10 hours or 15 hours to succeed. Actually, you can approach it with learning it a few minutes a day. You can even approach it with doing the thing itself, only literally a couple of minutes a day. And when I, for the very first time, went for trading, to learn about trading, I was just mind blown. I never realized how much psychology is involved in that. And actually, that was the fascinating part, and seeing your own behavior and everybody else's behavior. It's really a fascinating thing. And actually, instead of people thinking, oh, it's not for me, trading's not for me, they should look at it as an opportunity to approach it in so many different ways, and not actually having to learn the whole system, but learning one or two things. I know many people that succeed superbly well with just using one strategy that took them a few days to learn. So sometimes that overcomplication, overthinking, oh, trading's not for me, that's crazy, oh, never gonna get it. I was a bit like that until I went on the course and realized, wow, I get it. And what you said before, also about that mindset shift and being a bit more patient, isn't it? Rather than saying, oh, I need to get like, I'll make like 6 figures in a month, or whatever other people are claiming sometimes online. You really do approach it realistically and invest in your personal development, isn't it?
100%.
And I really love what you shared there about the mindset and understanding the banks and actually understanding the numbers. So really the key thing is probably firstly getting in touch with you as well, and having a look at some of your courses. So if there was a way to get in touch with you where could or learn something, I certainly see you share a lot of fantastic videos, tips, and inspiration and information about the industry. So where could people get in touch with you?
So I'm basically everywhere, Susan, on social media as far as that's concerned. So I have a YouTube channel. I'm also on Instagram. So my Instagram is Mandeep_Sokhi, which is my first _ last name. You can find me on Instagram. Facebook is just my first and my last name. I'm sure it'll be in the webinar somewhere. But yeah, people can connect with me on any platform, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Do find me, say hello, get in touch, see my work, because it's incredible, and it's really great to connect with a lot of people, especially like yourself, Susan. You know, this is another example. Had I not done, you know, what I did a few years ago, I wouldn't have met you. So there we go.
Absolutely. And I think that's what you said earlier as well. And thank you. Really lovely to meet you as well. And I can't wait to see what else we can do together. But is to start the journey, isn't it? For many people, it's to really start the journey instead of overthinking, is it for me? Should I do this? Should I do that? Really start it, because trading or whatever online type of business, it's about, you can mold it into your personality. And that's the great thing about online, isn't it? That you can really leverage so many different types of systems. So you've been now doing this for a while. May I ask you, what do you enjoy the most about what you do? I mean, you mentioned earlier that, you know, waking up in the morning without having to have that pressure is great. But what else? What's been maybe even the greatest success that you've had so far?
I think for me it was a couple of things actually. Number one, the people that you meet, it's incredible. It is truly, I mean, I have strangers that I met who are now my best friends. You know, these people are on the other side of the world. And come lockdown, I'm definitely going to visit them. Time for a trip, wherever that is. But it's amazing where your reach can influence, and you know, the people that you meet. Man, I've a couple of friends, you know, sort of in Australia now, in Cameroon in Africa, a couple of people in Italy, and it's just like, wow, like these people are amazing. And it's a lot more fun, you know, speaking to these people day to day than being at the office with the same people, and the same tone and the same boss and the same manager. No disrespect if my ex-boss or anyone is watching this, but the key thing is that this is this really fills you with energy. And you know, there's a quote that goes, I read it online somewhere, on Instagram, Susan, recently, which says, if you can't get up excited, then why wake up at all? If you can't wake up excited, why wake up at all? Because what's the point of waking up and being really negative? You might as well wake up and embrace the day. And I never thought in a million years I'd be that person. Never, ever. I thought, oh, they're happy-go-lucky people. You know, they're not my kind of people. I'm Miss Corporate. That's me. How wrong was I? And this business has really allowed me to meet new people and learn a lot. And I think for me, the biggest thing, the biggest success for me is that I can do something and I can do it, because my mindset was always, I can never be a business person. I'm a 9 till 6er. Like, and I always used to doubt myself as that little girl in a box who would always just, you know, live in that sort of, in that job, and, you know, yes, boss, anytime, boss, no problem, sir, get it done, sir. And when I came out of my shell, now I feel today, the woman I am, I feel like Superwoman, Susan.
You are a
That's a
superwoman.
bit exaggerated, but
No,
the
it's
thing
certainly
is,
not.
like, you feel like such a different person. So for me, my biggest success is actually I can do it, because from that girl, or from that young woman who thought, oh, I don't know, and I used to look at other people and lady bosses and think, oh my God, like, look at them, they're so cool, and I wish I could be that person. Now I'm that woman. And so this is why it gives me such confidence to even come on here, do a call, have a chit chat. And I feel like I can, yes, I can do it, because the demon was, well, you can't do that, you're never as good as that. But I overcame that demon. So it means that I can do it regardless of what someone says. My greatest success is that I did it and I'm doing it. So if I'm living proof that, you know, you can start something. I mean, I started Forex part-time when I was in my job. And that was literally it. Everything came after that. So number one, the people you meet. Number two, I can do it. And that's the mentality people need to have, that you can, not that you can't. So feeding yourself with the right things.
Absolutely. I love what you're saying. Oh gosh, you know, I know that you've got loads of different types of online sessions and programs as well that people can take part and keep listening to your inspiration. And a quote that just matches that perfectly: strength doesn't come from what you say you can do or what you have done, but it actually comes from doing the things that you thought you couldn't, and really going after the things and doing the things. Because another great quote is, do the thing and you will have the power.
Exactly.
You said the things, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go after my dreams, I'm gonna build a business, I'm a businesswoman, even when you weren't yet. But then that becomes a reality, because that indeed, that willingness to transform and take full responsibility of creating that own economy as well, learning those strategies is such an important part. And I love what you're saying there, that the greatest part has been actually the meeting those people, because it's different, isn't it, when you share your goals, dreams, ideas with people who are like-minded, instead of those doubters that we used to be ourselves. Oh no, that'll never work. No. When you actually get people who say, yes, you can do this, you can go for it, isn't that just wonderful?
It is, it really is. And actually, Susan, I just want to echo something there. In our day jobs, the boss is going to tell you what to do. So, Susan, listen, you're the employee. This is what we want as a business. So this is what you're going to do. In our business, we ask people, well, what do you want? Well, what do you want to do? And all of a sudden they're like, oh, whoa. Like, what do you mean? What do
What
I
do you
want?
want? What do you mean?
Exactly. Like, I'm used to being told what to do. Like, how come you're asking me? So that was a bit of a shock to me, because when my mentor sat me down, he goes, okay, Mandeep, tell me about you. What do you want? And I was like, oh, wow, okay. Oh, well, no one's really asked me that before. So it's actually really exciting when you get to the nitty gritty about looking at what you want. It's such a different playing field.
It is.
You know, looking at something, devoting that little bit of time, now you're focusing on you and not someone else, and your family's goals. Makes a big difference.
Well, because when you focus on you, actually other people benefit. Because if you focus on you and creating your own economy, aren't other people massively going to benefit
Exactly.
from that?
Yeah.
So that then maybe leads me to, unfortunately, the last question, probably actually quite good to finish off with as well, is actually maybe sharing a couple of those specific strategies, because there's so many that you've already shared, and my goodness, there's definitely so many that will be useful for everyone. But especially maybe someone right now, what you said there, I ask people, you know, what is it that you want? You know, someone building their business right now, someone really striving to build their empire, to achieve bigger sales, maybe to learn a new craft, really take action. And you know, how not to stop and how to really carry on moving forward. What maybe 3 tips could you give, you know, just in a kind of simple way for someone to start doing right after watching this, maybe?
Okay, so 3 things, Susan, I'd say is number 1, make a decision. That's it, because nothing is going to change until you say, right, you know what, I'm going to do this, and that's it. That's literally it, making a decision to begin with, because that's what happened in fact, my decision making was so quick. The minute I saw that the course that I teach and that my mentor showed me a few years ago, I did it on the day. I started on the day. I was like, okay, you know what, I'm ready. I'm going to do it. That's it. No questions asked. And that was it. I was on board there and thought, what's the point in waiting? What am I waiting for? I've been sort of praying and thinking about an opportunity and thinking I'm ready for something. Opportunities now knocking on my door. So number 1, make a decision and stick to it. Number 2, give yourself time. A lot of people, when they do start new things, they think, I want it fast. And we're in a society of immediate gratification where, you know, you put the popcorn in the microwave and ping, out it comes in 1 minute. Success doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Like, I've had to grind, I've had to be patient, disciplined, courageous. You know, I've had to do all those things. It did quit in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, then that would have been it. It just would have been another thing gone by and that's it. But I thought, I'm going to stick to this until I can make a consistent success out of it. You know, so people need to give themselves time. So make a decision, give themselves time. And the last thing I'd say is look at a course or an investment opportunity that can massively help you. Look at something that can benefit you, whether it's Forex. I do that, by the way. So whether it's Forex, whether it's trading Bitcoin, whatever it is doing, do something that can benefit you, because that's what's going to help your future. You know, understanding about money, let's start getting savvy with it. There are so many ways and vehicles to invest. And when I came across this industry, I was like, oh my God, wow, why have I been working for a decade? Like, I don't get it. Why didn't I start this earlier? You know, people always regret the things they didn't do as opposed to the things they did do. So the key thing I'm saying here is that get savvy with money, make a decision, invest in a course of some sort, so that you're not relying on, oh, the economy will get better, oh, the government will pay us, they'll look after us. I'm sorry to say this, it's not going to get better. 2020 we thought was bad. 2021 is going to be even worse, unfortunately. So the key thing is start getting savvy, look at courses, do some research and get started, make a decision and just go for it. That's literally it. So there's my 3 tips.
I love that. I love that. And I know that you could literally have like Mandeep's, you know, 20 steps to success kind of thing. I just love to carry on listening. And I love what you said there is really about understanding and how money works. It comes from learning, taking that time, not expecting immediate results, just like we were children, you know, I want. But now actually it's about really, if you're going to take this seriously, and when you're using such goals as create my own economy, really make money work for you, really have multiple streams of income, it takes, you know, that courage to take a step back and not be so involved and emotional in everything, but actually really understand what is it that I need to learn, what is the decision that I need to make, and really take whatever time I need and get mentors like yourselves, like you've had plenty of mentors, and keep having so, because every time you reach a new level, you need a new way of thinking.
Yeah.
You have to go, when I get to the 5 figures, I'll be all right. But then actually you want to go to the 6. It's a different way
Yeah.
of thinking. It's a
Yeah.
different way at 7, 8, and so on. So it's been just, I mean, we're definitely going to do plenty more of these together for sure, Mandeep. I'm hoping
I
anyways.
really enjoyed it today, Susan. Thank you so
I
much.
really enjoyed it as well. And thank you so much for sharing so many robust strategies with everyone else onto how to create their own economy, take control of their finances, take control of their mindset. And yeah, make sure you get in touch with Mandeep to find out more on how to get started as well. So thank you so much for taking part today, Mandeep. I'm sure we're going to meet again very soon.
Thank you.
Bye.